All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started. It's 9:03. Representative Williams? Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, y'all, we'll go ahead and get started. Chairman and ladies to the front, please. I appreciate everybody being so courtly and so gentlemanly. Representative Hagan. Oh, I'm sorry. I do apologize. I would like to start the meeting with a word of prayer. Representative Williamson, would you be so kind as to start us off with a word of prayer?
Let's pray. Father God, thank you for the gift of this day, Father. Just thank you for the mercy that you bless us with, Father. The gift of your Son, Father. We just all pray that we'd do things that are pleasing in your sight today. Bless the activities. Bless those that are on the way into the Capitol, Father. Keep us safe. And all this I ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Representative. Representative Hagan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, members of the committee, for having me back 2 days in a row. Bringing House Bill 909 this morning. It's on the second page of your list, second from the top. This would modernize our First Offender Act. The First Offender Act was first enacted in 1968 to prevent an isolated mistake from leading to a lifetime of barriers to the workforce, housing, or anything else that a person would need to do to succeed that would require a background check. This bill does not change who is eligible for a first offender sentence at all. What it does change is the timing of the sealing of records. Currently, records are restricted at sentencing, but not sealed until completion of the first offender sentence. This bill would both restrict and seal them at sentencing. And of course, if the first offender sentence is violated at any point, the judge would then unseal the records. That is what it does.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the committee, any questions? Thank you, Representative.
Thank you.
Representative Maynard.
Thank you so much. This is House Bill 282 that I'm going to present. It's the fourth one down on the first page. It's a department bill from the Department of Education. Right now, all this bill does is the DOE already has this program in place. It just is not being implemented everywhere because you have to sign in to do it. This allows you to automatically be enrolled in the program. There's no cost to it. And the chamber spoke in committee in support of the bill because it will help workforce development. And it's a soft skills bill for 6th through 12th grade.
Okay, all right. You have a question? Whip Park.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Maynard, thank you for the bill. The one question I had was on lines 39 to 41, it says the time in which the bill has to be implemented is July 1st, 2024, or July of this year. Is that enough time for the State Board of Education to comply with this bill?
It is. It's already there. They just need this bill to pass so they can provide it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. No more questions. Representative?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the Rules Committee. We're looking at House Bill 941 here, education bill for allow schools to qualify their pre-K classrooms for capital outlay funds. That would allow them to have that space with their architects on their design as they are building schools or as they are housing those children. Currently, they are not allowed in the capital outlay funds to count those classrooms towards that for their entitlement dollars. So this bill just is allowing the public school systems to include that pre-K classroom.
Okay. All right. Members of the committee, any questions? Seeing none, thank you. Appreciate it. Representative.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have House Bill 516. It's a DOT transportation bill. This bill raises the limits of the quick response program, which is already in place, from 200 to 500,000 due to inflation over the past decade. It also updates the P3, which is the private, the DOT and private partnership statute, to adjust the timing of the public hearing to earlier in the process, and the Georgia Department Board final approval. And then one last thing, it increases modular homes to 84 feet, so they can transport. It does not increase the weight.
Okay, all right. Any questions from members of the committee? Seeing none, thank you, Representative.
Thank you.
Senator, I believe you're the first senator that we have. Members of the committee, we have a senator.
Thank you for allowing me to be here, Madam Chairwoman, this morning.
You're very welcome.
Representatives, the bill I have is on the last page. It's the 5th item down. It's SB 333. And what SB 333 is a proposal for a new city in Gwinnett County, the city of Mulberry. The reason for the proposal, we've had an outcry from citizens in the area because of zoning issues in the area. They're wanting more local control. We've got a commissioner that's took a stance on denying several high-density and apartment zonings in the area because of infrastructure issues, mainly traffic. He's been getting outvoted in his own district by commissioners that have not been elected in that area and do not represent those citizens in Gwinnett. And it's in northeastern Gwinnett County. It's all unincorporated Gwinnett. It would border Barrow County to its east. To the north, it would be Hall County, and Brazelton to the south, it would be Highway 324 or Gravel Springs, and then 85 would be its western border. The proposal would be for 5 city council members. They would each have a district. They would not be at large, and then they would vote in the mayor. The city would have 3 services. It would provide zoning issues. It would take on zoning. It would take on stormwater runoff, and then also code enforcement would be the 3 that it would take on. There's no property tax increase. The revenue that would come from the city mainly would be from ad valorem taxes, from insurance premiums, and also occupation business licenses. We did have a feasibility study done. Now, the estimated revenue is about $9.4 million annually. The expenditures would be $7.9, so there would be roughly about $1.5 million surplus on an annual basis. And with that, be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Speaker Pro Tem, did you have a question? No. Okay. Whip Park.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So 2 questions and then kind of a broader one, if I may. When would the referendum for this bill be?
May.
This May?
Yes.
Okay. And the commissioner who represents this new city, that's a Republican, is that correct?
That is correct.
And he's the one who's not been listening to the voters regarding zoning issues?
That's incorrect.
Could you clarify that issue for me?
Yeah, I would say that there's been several zonings in the area that he had recommended denial on, and there were other district commissioners that don't represent the area that outvoted him on several of those, and that's kind of what started the outcry for the city.
And please correct me if I'm wrong, but that is the Republican commissioner who introduced a resolution asking this body to slow down on this process. Is that not correct?
Okay, let's limit our questions to the policy.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes,
If we have policy questions with regards to the bill, let's limit those questions to that.
I'll have one
Okay?
last. Thank you, Madam Chair. One last policy-related question.
Policy-related question.
Is there any other city that you can recall that's been passed by this body in 3 months, 4 or 5 months?
Like I said, the process that we're going through, we've checked all the boxes. We've had 3 town halls. We also had a phone town hall meeting. There was a mailer before those town halls went out to all of the residents that would be affected. There's a website been put up, had the feasibility study done. We've done all the processes that require this, for the formation of a city. Viability studies come back saying it would be a viable city, would have almost $1.5 million in annual surplus. So I believe we've gone through the process. Not sure why the speed of it would really matter. And I would also say that in regards to the commissioner, I represent that area as well. It's entirely in my Senate district. These are my constituents. They've reached out to me, thousands of them, wanting to have more local control because they don't feel represented.
Okay, all right, Representative Hughley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To the Senator, I did not hear you mention it, but what impact will creating this city have on the remaining parts of the county?
The entirety of Gwinnett County?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so the viability study came back as far as revenue would be 9.4 million. There was a report from the county, or an estimate from the county, that it would be about a $9 million impact to Gwinnett County's budget. Gwinnett County's current budget is just over $2.5 billion. So that would be a 0.34% of the budget. So it's very, very small percentage. So I would argue that there would be no impact to the entire county. And then also, if the voters ultimately decide they do want to incorporate, once the city's formed, the city council has been elected, the mayor's been elected, they would be a intergovernmental, service delivery agreement dealing with fire, police, road infrastructure, and many other things that the city would pay for. So that number, I would argue, would come down.
Okay, all right. Majority Leader Estration.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senator, to your last point you just made there, isn't it true that with this city taking over 3 services that Gwinnett County is currently providing, there would actually be the potential for cost savings to Gwinnett, because it wouldn't be necessary for Gwinnett to provide those 3 services in this proposed city area?
That is correct, Mr. Leader.
Isn't it true that that this bill, as it has been presented, has followed the process that's required by law for the passage of a bill, that there were several town halls that were conducted within the impacted area, that there was a feasibility study that was completed to completely review the financial impact that would be involved here, and all of that has been done and occurred in a public way so that residents in this area can give input throughout the process?
That is true.
And isn't it true that currently there are 4 district commissioners in Gwinnett County with a county population of about 1 million people? Each commissioner district has about 250,000 residents, and your bill would allow for council districts with residents of 7,000 to 9,000. So this would be government much closer to the people, where local input could be given more effectively as to planning and zoning concerns.
That is correct.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Last question, Minority Leader Beverly.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To the gentleman, a quick question. Are you familiar with Section 3654 of the Georgia Constitution, which says that state law regarding legal density requirements require that 60% have 5 acres or more if you're going to move forward with SB 33? Are you familiar with that?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Are you familiar with Section 3654 that requires at least 60% of undeveloped residential and agricultural acreage in a city must be in lots that are 5 acres or less? Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not.
Okay. According to state law and by the feasibility study that the majority leader spoke of, only 57% of the type of property proposed for this new city is in acres that are 5 acres or less. Are you concerned that you're violating state law by bringing this bill forward?
No, I'm not.
Okay, all right, thank you. No further questions. Thank you,
Thank you.
Senator. Representative Daniel?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today I have House Bill 1037. What it does is it creates a maternal and infant health commission in the state of Georgia. One of the things I want to make clear is it does not replace the current maternal mortality review committee that we have. The goal is that it would work alongside and be complementary to that, not replace it. So I want to start there. It allows the governor 6 appointments, the lieutenant governor 3 appointments, and the speaker 3 appointments. Under the governor's appointments, they shall include an obstetrician, either a pediatrician or a neonatologist, a nurse midwife, either a family practice or general practice physician, and a representative of a perinatal facility. It does have a sunset clause at the end of 2 years, and so the hope is that we will be able to form a report of what we find and let the people of Georgia know what we're doing on the issue of maternal and infant health. And it's the difference between the Maternal Mortality Review Committee and this is it would take a more holistic approach. Currently, the review committee only studies the deaths of the women, and this is actually going to study some of the comorbidities that are leading to the deaths as well as infant health. And I will take any questions you have.
Okay, all right, seeing none. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Representative?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have House Bill 987. It's on the second page, about 2/3 of the way down. What this bill does is, in 2019, the threshold for equalization for school boards to receive equalization was set at 14 meals. And since that time, we've had a pretty good rise in our digest. So what this bill does is accommodate for the increase in the digest across the state, and it allows the school system, it actually lowers the threshold from 14 down to 10. And it basically allows the school system to roll back at 14, below 14 if they can, based on the growth in their digest. It's a pretty simple bill, and I appreciate Chairman Irwin's help and also appreciate the Pro Tem's help on putting this bill together.
Okay,
Any
all right.
questions?
Minority Leader Beverly.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Just a quick question. How would this bill reduce property taxes for schools?
If the school board chooses to roll back, it can. If it's at 14 now or near the baseline, the current baseline level of 14 now, it can roll back, but there is a threshold of 10. And if the school system goes below 10, there is a clawback provision that would basically penalize the school system from going below that threshold, that new threshold of 10. The clawback provision includes a 25% reduction in equalization funding. But if the school system does not want to roll back, it doesn't have to. It just gives them the ability to.
A follow-up question. How many systems are at 11% or below when it comes to the millage rate right now?
There's a few, probably 8 or less, but some of these don't receive equalization funding, so it would have no impact on them.
Okay, all right. No further questions. Thank you, Representative.
Appreciate it.
Representative Kelly.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the committee, here today with House Bill 300, second bill under modified structure on your first page. This legislation would do two things. First, it provides certainty and protection from landowners when they're entering into solar power facility agreements with individuals who want to operate these solar power facilities. So it provides them some protection and assurance while also putting forth a framework that will continue to allow our solar power to be prevalent in our state and a good power mix for all of our suppliers. I'm glad to answer any questions.
All right. Thank you, Representative. Any questions from members of the committee? Seeing none, thank you, Representative.
Thank you. Appreciate your favorable consideration.
Thank you. Representative Leverett.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, members of the committee. I'm presenting to you House Bill 1033. It's the next to the last one on the second page, and this is the Utility Worker Protection Act. You may remember last year we passed a critical infrastructure bill to protect the machinery and equipment that constitutes the infrastructure for our utilities that provide us with the services we use. So we protected the stuff last year. Now we're protecting the people who work on the stuff, who maintain and ensure its operational capability. We're doing that by taking the penalty that is provided in assault, a simple battery, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and increasing them if those crimes are committed against a utility worker in the course and scope of their employment performing their official duties. There's a definition of utility worker that's focused but broad across the different kinds of utility services and the utility workers we have. And we take the penalty for simple assault and simple battery, which is currently a misdemeanor. The crimes committed against the utility worker performing work in the scope of their duties, it goes to a misdemeanor of a high and aggravated nature, which basically takes it from up to a year in jail and a $1,000 fine to up to a year in jail and a $5,000 fine. And then on aggravated battery and aggravated assault, the penalty if committed against a utility worker goes from 1 to 20 years to 3 to 20 years. So we believe this will be useful, and this is happening. Utility workers are being assaulted, they're being shot at. We even had testimony in committee of a train engineer that was shot at while in a moving train. So it is a real problem. We're not just trying to anticipate something happening. It's happening, and we hope this will help ensure the prosecution and punishment of people who do that sort of thing.
Thank you, Representative. Members of the committee, any questions? Seeing none, I will commend you for the bill. My nephew is a lineman and actually was a victim of aggravated assault. He went to go turn somebody's power off because non-payment, and he got shot at. So it is a very real problem.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Thank you for that.
I appreciate your bringing the bill. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Representative.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I bring for you two bills today. On the second page under modified structure, the seventh from the top, HB 959. I spoke on this the other day. It's the move over bill, and basically we're extending the same protection to a stranded motorist that's stranded by the side of the road. We passed this bill last year. There was some misunderstanding of the intent of the bill. It was unclear whether the motorist had to be present or not, and we clarified that in this bill. The motorist has to be present and the flashing lights has to be on. So that's what we changed in the bill from last year to clarify that, and I would appreciate your favorable consideration for House Bill 959.
Okay, all right, thank you. Do you have another bill?
I do. House Bill 997, which is under modified structured, the sixth bill from the bottom on the second page. This is a Department of Driver Services bill. Presently, now the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration Commercial Driver's License Division, the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse is a secure online database that centralizes records for all drug and alcohol program violators. As this bill, what we're doing, we're streamlining the notification to the Department of Driver Services when a customer is prohibited from having a CDL for lack of failing a drug test or alcohol test, or if they refuse to take a test. It just streamlines that notification, and it also prohibits a driver from job hopping to, if they get a notification from their employer, they just go run to another employer and get hired, and they're driving that suspended license. But this will clarify that. It streamlines it. It's real-time data that's available to DDS. So that's a department bill, and that's what we're doing.
Okay, all right. And I do apologize. I think this is actually a question based on your previous bill, but
Okay.
Representative Williams, I believe he
Yes.
has a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To the gentleman, certainly, I would hope this would help. In some instances, nothing will help, but just less than 2 months ago, one of my constituents, coming from a conference here in Atlanta, had car trouble, and she was with the wrecker. A guy passing killed her, 27 years old. He had plenty of room to pull over, but he didn't.
Yes, every year, Representative, there's 24 first responders killed on the side of the road. On average, there's over 300 motorists killed on the side of the road every year. So we're just extending that same protection to the stranded motorist.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Representative. No more questions. Representative LaHood.
Thank you, Madam Chair and committee. I've got two bills. I'll start with House Bill 363, and it is the first one under structured rule on the last page. And House Bill 363, essentially, it is required to keep the rural hospital tax credit alive beyond this year. It's set to sunset in December of this year, and this extends the sunset to December of 2029. It also increases the cap from $75 million to $80 million. This has been a very successful program. It benefits 55 rural hospitals, and there's actually a hospital in my, right next to my district in Berrien County that's undergoing a $15 million expansion, and they attribute this credit for the ability to do that. And so that's what this does, and we'll take any questions if there are any.
Okay, Whit Burchett.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Thank you for bringing this bill, Representative LaHood. Isn't it true that this program has been wildly popular and it allows locals to help support our rural hospitals?
It, in fact, does. There's over 5,000 donors every year, and the vast majority of those, around 4,300 of those, are individuals.
Very good. All right, good bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Minority Whip Park.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Are there any long-term feasibility studies on the overall impact of this tax credit, particularly for the purpose of saving or ensuring that our rural hospitals have a path toward long-term fiscal sustainability?
I know this topic has been studied extensively, and it's been determined that this is a great benefit to rural hospitals.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dean Green.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Is it not true that this is one of the recommendations of the Rural Council Committee that we explored all this summer, and that it became one of the highlights of our recommendations?
You are absolutely correct.
Thank you for bringing it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. No further questions from the members of the committee.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I appreciate your favorable consideration. Are you good with me presenting my next bill?
Sure.
All right.
You have a second bill?
House Bill 977 is a bill that would expand the number of races that get risk limiting audit. And basically what it does is requires that the top of ballot race gets audited in a general election, and that one statewide race gets audited. So the top of ballot would be an automatic audit, and the statewide race would be determined by, the bill also kind of changes how the statewide race would be determined. And so the bill would require the governor, lieutenant governor, speaker of the House, and minority leader from each chamber to determine which statewide race gets audited, if there is a statewide race on the ballot. The other thing the bill does is lowers the threshold, essentially the margin of error that's allowed. Currently, it's in State Election Board rule. They've set 10% as the margin of probability. However, the Secretary of State is currently using 5. The bill lowers it to 8 this year, and it ticks down 2% every 2 years until it gets to 2% by 2030.
Okay. All right. You do have a couple of questions. Minority Whip Park.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You said the Secretary of State currently has a 5% threshold. Why isn't that being codified for this year?
Well, the State Election Board has it at 10 this year, and I wouldn't have a problem with going to 5, but we just decided to tick down gradually to give our election workers, time to catch up with the demands, because there is going to be extra work involved in this. They're currently auditing 1 race, and this will require a minimum of 2 races to be audited.
One more policy question, if I may. So on lines 55, with respect to the timing in which the race to be selected will be done, it says 11 a.m. the Thursday immediately following the election. Is that sufficient time? What if it takes a little while longer for election results to come in?
Okay, so this is the time frame for the race to be, that's going to be audited, the statewide race to be determined, not for the audit to be completed.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Majority Leader Beverly.
Thanks for the upgrade. Madam Chair, you call me Majority Leader.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's Chuck. Yeah, it's coming.
Minority Leader.
It's coming, buddy.
Sorry.
It's coming. Just a quick question. Why, to that end, why is it not that General Assembly races are not listed to be chosen for random risk limiting audits according to this bill?
Okay, that's a good question, and I had an original version of a bill that had those included, and after talking to a lot of stakeholders exhaustively, it was determined that requiring a a General Assembly race to be audited, it would have been so random. And all of our House districts, some are parts of a county, some are 9 counties. Same with Senate Senate districts. And it would have just been an inconsistent mandate where election workers would have not been able to prepare adequately. And so on line 66, what I added is language that says nothing in this code section shall prevent an election superintendent from conducting a risk limiting audit in additional contest if circumstances warrant the auditing of one or more additional contests than those required.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right. No further questions.
Thank you. Appreciate your favorable consideration.
Yep. Representative?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the committee, I come to you with HB 978, modified structure, page 2, 10 down, so basically the middle of the page. This bill would permit cyclists to treat a stop sign as a yield sign. Let me give you the reason why we need the law, and let me give you just 2 data points on how it's been solved. The reason we need the law is 21% of fatalities related to bicycles occur at a stop sign. We want to be able to basically create a situation where we don't have that incongruency of speed. So the cyclist slows down, the car slows down. Of course, the cyclist can't come out of the stop sign as fast as the car does. 21% of the fatalities, again, are happening at a stop sign. 2 data points for the committee to consider. There are 10 other states that have done this, Idaho being one. In the first year, fatalities at stop signs went down 14.5%. Delaware is another of the 10 states, and in a 30-month period, they saw fatalities relating to bicycles and stop signs going down 27.5%. So we believe that as we relate to stop signs, cyclists, and 2-lane roads that they're approaching, we believe that this is a fundamental way to be able to create a safer environment for cyclists.
Okay. All right. You have a question from Secretary Jaspers.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I guess my question when I saw this yesterday was, we're going to have 2 sets of rules now for those who are using the public right-of-way roads. And I don't see how this doesn't create confusion and thereby creating conflict. I think because most of the auto drivers understand the rules of the road. We're going to have a different set for bicyclists that auto drivers are going to have to abide by. I don't see how that doesn't create confusion.
So, Chairman Jaspers, let me just give a practical. I'm a cyclist. When I come up to a stop sign, I'm clipped in. I stop, but I effectively stop just fast enough for my wheel to stop. And then if it's clear, and then I take my right turn and I go as fast as I can. What I'm trying to do is quickly get out of the way of the 4,000-pound vehicle that could hit me. I absolutely agree with you that there is an inconsistency. However, our current bicycle laws call for all cyclists to be as far right as possible. So we are getting out of the way already of the flow of traffic, and then being able to allow that cyclist to either make a right turn or to go across only a 2-lane highway. We put them out of danger, and we continue to keep them in a path, just like we keep them all the way to the right today. We try to continue to keep them in a path away from the cars.
Madam Chair, I just still think that we're creating 2 standards, in that there is tremendous frustration in many areas with bicyclists running stop signs now, and so this is an aggravation of auto drivers. I just think having 2 sets of rules is going to create confusion.
I respect that. Yeah, I respect that completely. In a perfect world, I could get people to stop texting and driving. I could get people to move out of the left lane when they're supposed to, and I agree with you that we could get all cyclists to abide by the rules of the road.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Representative Martin.
Gentlemen, for a question. Mine is a bit similar and is serious. If I were to come to a stop sign and to my right at that intersection, whatever, if it was a 90-degree intersection otherwise, and there was a yield sign for traffic for all cars, then I stay stopped at that stop sign until all the cars that are going by, right? Because I'm subordinate to that yield sign in the traffic flow. So the bicyclist is going to treat that stop sign as a yield sign now. How are we to let all the people operating vehicles know that they are now subordinate to that yield sign? I feel like if somebody's at the stop sign stopped and they're coming up as a yield sign, if a car is stopped, then that yield would not say they have to yield to that car, that they would keep going and the car stops. So it means serious question is, how do we communicate, should your bill pass, to the rest of the driving public so that we don't create, how did they do that in the other states?
Sure. So in practical purposes, I think most cars would appreciate, if not all cars, to have the cyclist get out of their way as soon as possible. But that stated, Chairman Martin, to your point, we lifted this primarily from the Delaware law. And if I could refer you right now to lines 13 all the way through line 19 at the semicolon, it actually goes through the exact process that the cyclist must take, talking about it's basically coming up, it's approaching, it's taking all of the steps that you're referring to. For all intents and purposes, it's a near complete stop, because in order to do making sure you have a clear view, making sure you have a clear intersection, and then making sure that you have approached it such that there is not an immediate hazard during the time of the operator of the bicycle is moving across or within the intersection of the junction, which is on lines 18 and 19, I think gives us, tremendous amount of confidence that if there is going to be a conflict at that millisecond that's going to occur, I believe the cyclist is going to have the same instance of stopping because they've stopped because there is traffic coming through. And if they don't see traffic, they will be able to move quickly, frankly, at the same speed as the car, because once the car hits the gas pedal, they're going to quickly go past the cyclist, just because most bikelists at most are going about 20 miles an hour, and that's at top speed, not at the beginning speed.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Representative Newton?
Just a quick follow-up kind of on what Chairman Jasper said. I think the most confusion would be at a four-way stop, where a lot of people don't understand it anyway, or don't necessarily handle it well, but we all know if everybody pulls up and stops, whoever stopped first kind of has the right of way, or it's the person to your right if you show up at the same time. If you have one vehicle there that can still legally move at that stop sign and the others can't, I could see confusion there. On just a regular road with a single stop sign on either side, and basically you have to yield to the traffic who clearly has the right of way with no stop sign. I'm just curious if any other state exempted four-way stops from this.
So, Chairman Newton, this does not exempt a cyclist from the four-way stop rule. So if they come up to a four-way stop, and to your point, we have other cars at that four-way stop, it's a stop sign. They cannot suddenly move it to a yield sign. It just does, they're not exempted from the four-way stop rule. I see this being more used when there's, I'll say, two side streets, two stop signs, and then a free flow of traffic going, I'll say, in perpendicular to those two side streets.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Very quickly now, Representative Williams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've been listening, and my question is, what do you do about, most cyclists don't know the rules now, except for the very dedicated. Do you think this bill might help one call that's all even more? Because when you compare Idaho, they went from 6 deaths to what? One less, 14. There's nobody out there but cows. That's not a comparison for how it's going to help us.
So, Representative Williams, the best data I can give you is in 2021, this body expanded the 3-foot buffer rule. It allowed for the car wanting to pass the cyclist and maintain the 3-foot buffer. We permitted them, just like we do with sanitation workers in the Postal Service, to cross a solid yellow line if, in fact, it is safe to do so. In that case, we've seen in the last 3 years a reduction of about 27% of, I'll say, accidents involving cyclists and motor vehicles. So my feeling is, Representative Williams, I don't know if we'll see a full 0.25% or 27% reduction here. I hope so. But in this case, I think the data tells us that this body moved 36 months ago and saw a positive, I'll say, effect. I hope it's the case here too.
Okay. All right. Minority Whip Park.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Chairman Jones, appreciate the bill, and I apologize, I may be a little confused, but The bill reads to me as common sense practices that a cyclist, a bicyclist would already otherwise do not to get hit by a car, and simply codify existing practices. Am I not reading this correctly?
No, Whip Park, as I was speaking to the Georgia DOT, I said no cyclist wants to play Frogger. And I mean that sincerely to the Rules Committee. So you're absolutely right. Everyone is aware that your bike weighs anywhere from 15 to 20 pounds, and whatever it is you weigh compared to a 4,000-pound vehicle, just you got to use common sense, and it's common sense that's being asked for here.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. All right, no further questions.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Representative. All right, members of the committee, if you have any bills that you would like to request, please fill. Representative Chairman Lumsden.
Yes, Madam Chair. House Bill 984, page 2, modified structure about halfway down. This bill it's a Department of Insurance bill. It does 3 things. It sets the framework for off-duty use of department vehicles by post-certified officers of the Department of Insurance. The second portion of it is an NAIC accreditation issue, National Association of Insurance Commissioners. This deletes a subsection of state law to bring us into compliance with NAIC model law. This deals with small cap life insurance companies. And the third thing that it does is requires health insurers to waive the age requirement for dependents with a developmental disability or physical disability, and allows them to remain or be added on to the parent's policy. This is a department bill, and those are the 3 things that the bill does.
Okay, all right. Raise your hand if you have any questions. Seeing none, thank you, Chairman. Representative Williamson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On page 3, third down from the top, I'm requesting House Bill 1083. Last year, this body created a new licensure category for adult residential psychiatric treatment centers. They were previously having to be licensed as personal care home, which necessitated numerous waivers from the Department of Public Health to grant the necessary health care coverages these facilities were providing patients. This bill just simply extends the effective dates for that. The department's overwhelmed right now. This is at their request, and is the original author of this licensure bill. I agreed with them, and Chairman Cooper has been very helpful. She got it out of the committee for us yesterday. We need to get this in place right away, since the sunset date is already, the implementation date was January the 1st of this year.
Okay, all right, thank you. Chair Lady Cooper.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. On the 3rd page, under modified structure, is second from the top, House Bill 1077. When we passed over the 2nd mental health bill last year to the Senate, some discussion went on, and that committee chair decided that that bill was too big, even though it was 20-something pages smaller than the year before, and that we should send back individual bills for things we wanted in that. And this is the very core to it. It's allowing the Georgia Board of Healthcare workforce to have a loan repayment plan for people that are licensed in the mental health area, psychologists, psychiatrists, social workers, marriage and family counselors. And the reason it's the core is that if we want to take care of the mentally ill in this state, we have got to have more workers. We do not have them. And this would encourage people with loan forgiveness. It also has an incentive to encourage people that do take care of our most needy patients, our Medicaid patients, that the more they take care of, that there's a stepped incremental thing where they can get more reimbursement for loan repayment if they take care of people on Medicaid.
Okay, all right. Any questions? Okay, and you have another bill?
I think it's 449. It was a House resolution.
Oh, it was the House resolution.
And I didn't see it on the sheet.
Okay, all right.
But it is for a heart disease that they want to make a day that...
I believe it's under modified open.
Oh, I missed it. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. Right. It's to make the 4th Wednesday in February the hypertrophic Myopathy Awareness Day. This is something that's affecting many, many more Georgians, and they want to bring recognition to it in the work that's being done to help patients with that illness.
Okay, all right, thank you. Chairman Hawkins.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I have HB 945 on the second page. It's the fifth one down. This addresses a problem we've had around the state with hospitals and insurers going out of contract, leaving the patients without access to health care. Presently, Hall County has, in Northeast Georgia, has over 14,000 United Healthcare insurees that cannot access the hospital, nor can they access the physician network. This bill says that for state health employees, your calendar year will be what the state calendar year is, regardless of what the hospital and insurance calendar is.
Okay.
So you will not be left as an out-of-network patient.
Okay.
Very important bill. Thank you. And this has happened around the state. I mean, this is an ongoing thing with hospitals in different cities of this state.
Okay.
I met with the insurers and I met with the hospital folks, and they are all in agreement. Even the insurers are agreeing to the bill.
Okay, all right. You have another bill?
I do. I have two bills. 872, that is the loan, the student dental loan. I've been meeting with them since spring, trying to figure out how we can improve this. What this does is it recognizes the student in his senior year or her senior year, so they know they're going to have the loan, so it entices them to go to the rural areas, and also tells them that that loan will be a 4-year loan consecutively. The next bill is 874. That's the AED bill. It's also a very important bill. I met with a cardiologist, and this extends the AEDs into our grammar schools through K through grammar schools. Very, very much needed. We've had, believe it or not, some deaths in the grammar schools. And also, we have parents and grandparents and the employees that this would help protect.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, Chairman Gunter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm asking for House Bill 873 to be considered by the committee. This brings the juvenile court treatment courts under the state accountability courts, or Council of Accountability Courts. Some of our juvenile courts already have treatment courts and are operating them outside of the standards that the council has. And this would bring them under those standards, and also help courts that want to start one, help them get it started up.
Okay, all right. Any questions from members of the committee? Seeing none, thank you so much. All right. Sometimes technology does not want to cooperate up here, and I do apologize for that. There are a couple of kind of cleanup issues that we need to deal with. We need to recommit some bills. So we're going to recommit 4 bills. House Bill 370, we're recommitting that back to Judiciary. Do I hear a move? Second. It's gone. House Bill 451, we're moving it back to Public Safety and Homeland Security. Do I hear a move? Second. There's a move and a second. It's gone. House Bill 501, going back to Industry and Labor. Is there a move? Second. There's a move and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. House Bill 738, going back to Industry and Labor. Is there a move? Second. There's a move and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Okay, just to recap, House Bill 370 has gone back to Judiciary. House Bill 451 has gone back to Public Safety and Homeland Security. House Bill 501 has gone back to Industry and Labor, and House Bill 738 has gone back to Industry and Labor. We will now set the rules calendar for today, Thursday, February 8th, 2024. Under modified structured, House Bill 945. Is there a move? There's a move and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, like sign. House Bill 970. Is there a move? There's a move and a second. All those in favor of House Bill 970, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, like sign. It's on. House Bill 982. 2. Is there a move? Move in a second. All those in favor of House Bill 982, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, like sign. Senate Bill 333. All those in, is there a move? There's a move in several seconds. All those in favor of Senate Bill 333, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, like sign. No? Okay. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. The ayes have it. Under structured rule, House Bill 871. Is there a move? There's a move in several seconds. There's a move in several seconds for House Bill 871. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, like sign. House Bill 1015. All those, is there a move? There's a move in several seconds. All those in favor of House Bill 1015, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, like sign. There, House Bill 1019. All those in favor, is there a move? There's a move in several seconds. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, like sign. House Bill 1021. There's a move in several seconds. All those in favor of House Bill 1021, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That is it, and that concludes today's. We are now adjourned. I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay. All right. Hold on. I have been told that I need to go ahead and set the calendar for Friday. So under modified open, House Bill 1034, is there a move? Move in several seconds. All those, this is for the rules calendar for Friday, February 9th, 2024, modified open. House Bill 1024, there's a move in several seconds. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. House Bill 1048, is there a move? There's a move in several seconds. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Modified structured, House Bill 959. All those in favor, please. There's a move in several seconds. All those in favor of House Bill 959, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, like sign. House Bill 1026, is there a move? There's a move in several seconds. All those in favor of House Bill 1026, please signify by saying aye. Okay, any opposed? All right. Okay, I'm going to recognize Chairman Jaspers for a motion.
Thank you, Madam. On today's rules calendar, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, what's your motion?
Make a motion to limit debate on Senate Bill 333 pursuant to Rule 33.3 to limit the debate to 1 hour at the discretion of the Speaker.
Okay. So there is a move to limit debate on Senate Bill 333 to 1 hour, time to be allotted at the discretion of the Speaker. There's a move. Is there a second? Several seconds. All those in favor of limiting debate, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed, like sign. No. Okay. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. Any opposed? All those opposed?
Four.
All right. Nice chance, Representative Hughley. I appreciate the jazz hands there. But one person, one vote. Motion carries. That concludes the business of the Rules Committee, and we are adjourned.